How is everybody? See if I can pull up some comments. Look at that. There we go. Yo, Ember. Is that like hearing it in stereo? No? Kind of? Except there's a delay? Okay. It's kind of like Pink Floyd stereo then. There we go. Just getting down with the music. Having a cup of Java. There you go. With some coconut vanilla creamer. That's supposed to make you feel more healthy. You know, drinking sugar and then you feel more healthy that way. Let me know if you are in a flooded area. We will come and save you. We'll come and drive there and save you tonight. We're having some floods here in the Wisconsin area. You've probably seen that on some of the national news. We made the national news. We keep making national news for bad things. Let's make some national news for good things. That'd be really, really cool. We could have a hug fest. That would be good, huh? Maybe a world record for the most hugs. So let me know. Tonight we're going to talk about things you thought were bad until in hindsight you figured out were good. That's what we're talking about. Is that an easy way to describe that? I'm not quite sure. I think I just complicated it even more. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, maybe that love you lost, you thought you lost, or that the person that didn't ask you to the prom, or whatever that would be, you know, or the house that you might not have gotten. You put in a bid for a house or an offer for a house and you didn't get that. Could be a lot of different things, you know. Let me know in the comments one that's happened to you. At a push of a button, I can make the music go again. Hey, by the way, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I cracked me. As Ember says, you're the only one. Well, welcome aboard tonight. Hopefully we can get a few more peeps on board. It's not 6:30 yet, but you know, we got about 3 minutes left for the show. And if you are having some issues, I'm going to tell you a couple little pointers right away for flooding. If there's any heavy rain downpour that you are in the midst of, pull over, get off on an off ramp, or pull over on an off ramp, or whatever you need, and sit there and wait it out a little bit. We're having a lot of issues in our area of when we get these big downpours in the last few days, week or so. Yeah, we get people that are like, just, oh, it looks like it's not that deep, and pull right through, and they're killing their cars. Yep, they're dying them out because your car, just in case you didn't know this, your car has an air intake, and that's what keeps all that fresh air coming through, right? And it also does some kind of air, a little bit of air cooling in that to the engine and that, but mostly it's for the inside air. It brings fresh air through, right? Well, those are usually down lower on your car. So when you drive through water, it sucks water into your engine. And then your engine stalls out or tries to work harder or blows a rod or something of that sort because of that. So, yeah, don't do it. If you're in a flooded area or there's an area, it looks like standing water, it's probably like 4 feet deep. So just don't do it. We had another story in our area where some people started climbing out of their car because they got trapped in water and their car stalled out, and so they started getting, and one of the guys got pulled under, so not a smart thing. Not a smart thing. Got about a minute and a half left before in the pre-show. Thanks for coming along on tonight's journey. Speaking of journey, Steve Perry's got an album coming out. Great segues here. Love them. Yeah, Steve Perry has an album coming out soon, and threw down the first release off of that. I'm not real impressed, but we'll see how it goes, right? If you wait, how many years is in between? 25 years since his last little bit there? I don't know. So let me know how you think about that too. All right, we're coming down to about 30 seconds left in the pre-show. Moving on to the show, which means I switched to water with some electrolytes right there. So if you're driving through any flooded areas, please just pull over, get out of those areas. Don't attempt it. Don't attempt to be in those areas and kill your car, kill yourself. People love you. They need you to be around tomorrow. So, all right. Let's see how things go. Welcome everybody to tonight's show. I am Dave Stelma, and tonight we're going to talk about, well, those things that may have not really come your way. Whether it's that lost love, whether it's you lost you put a bid in on a house or something and you didn't lose, and you lost that. You think you lost it anyway, but there's a reason that you lost that. We're going to talk about that and a few other things right after the intro. Well, welcome to tonight's show. I appreciate it. I am Dave Stelma, and tonight I really want to take a moment or two and talk about what are those things? What is the things that have happened to you that you thought that, man, if I just had that, my life would be perfect. I can remember way back. Can I really remember way back that far? I remember certain people, you know, when you're just a teenager, you know, you're looking for love and you just want someone to say that they love you and things like that. And I remember, you know, thinking, oh my gosh, if this I won't mention names, if this person would just go out with me, my life would be perfect, you know. And then later on, as I started working and I chose a retail venue, as I started working and managing stores, clothing stores and that, I thought, boy, if I just got that promotion, my life would be perfect. And then later on, as far as, you know, it could have been another person, you know, it's like, boy, if that person would go out with me, my life would be perfect. All these things, these aspects. And you know what? My life wasn't perfect. My life didn't become perfect because of those situations and that were out there. And so I ask yourself this: was there anything, or put it in the comments, even if you're watching this in the replay, what are those things that you think would, if you just had it, your life would be perfect? You know, is it that $1 million? Is it you know, a brand new house? Is it a car? I've seen people where they go, man, if I just had a brand new car, my life would be perfect. I would have everything because that brand new car wouldn't break down in that. And then they go and they buy the brand new car, and then they're like, oh my gosh, now I'm stuck to this car payment. I'm stuck to the upkeep of this thing. I mean, you know, homes too. They buy their first home, and all of a sudden it's like, what? I have to put a new roof on this thing? You know, 3-4 years down the line, things of that sort. So, but sometimes things just aren't supposed to work out. And it's a blessing. You have your angels looking out for you. And so sometimes it's just a matter of what that is. And do you get upset? So when those things don't work out, what's your reaction to that? Yeah. Do you get upset right away? Do you go, oh my gosh, my whole world is to the end? How many times have you done that? I've done it in the past. I thought that, you know, if this person didn't go out with me, or when I was younger, or if I didn't get that job promotion, I thought, yeah, boy, if I didn't get to be district manager of this chain that I was working for, all of a sudden, if I did, my life would be perfect. I didn't get, I didn't get it. And then I was like, oh man, bummed out. You get that attitude, you get depressed, you get, all those feelings inside, because you think that that was the pinnacle, that was the goal, that was the thing that would change your life forever. But I'm going to tell you, there might be something a little bit bigger in store for you. Yeah, you might just have made the right turn that you thought was the wrong turn. Because those things that we want, sometimes the things that we want aren't really what's in alignment for our overall journey through life. If I would have been or became a district manager of one of the chains that I worked for, I probably would be, I don't know, looking for another job. Because anybody that's worked retail at all knows that one chain buys out another chain, and the next thing you know, you're out of a job because there's two district managers for the same position, right? There's all different situations that way. Not saying that might have come true or might not have come true, but there's different things throughout our lives. In hindsight, they make sense. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be to the place where I'm at. I wouldn't have met Ember if certain things wouldn't have happened in my life, and all the way down the line. So there's different things that happen to us for a reason. And so you can't just think of some of the things that have happened to you along the way. Some great examples, I can't name names, but there's some great examples of if you all of a sudden get into alignment with a certain coach or a certain mentor, or you go and you take a certain seminar and it just feels right to you. It just feels like everything is right. And then you come back and everything works out perfect. Otherwise, there's other times when you go someplace and it just doesn't feel right. But a lot of times we still go through with it because we either invested money or we invested some time ahead of time with it. Somehow we feel that we were vested in that program or in that seminar or in that event. And so we didn't like go with our gut feeling and just say, you know what, this isn't the right thing. I'm gonna go home, or I'm not gonna be fulfilling on this. Now, a great example, not necessarily for a seminar in that, but a great example of what's going on in our area in Wisconsin right now. We're having a lot of flooding that's going on. And there's going to be some people that are going to feel that what's going on? They're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to be, why is this happening to me? You're going to ask all these questions initially right now, but I'm going to tell you right from the get-go, there's a reason why certain things are happening within your life right now. And it's all going to make sense. We call that hindsight, and hindsight is always 20/20. It's always crystal clear on hindsight. And when you look at a situation, first off, you got to take 100% responsibility for what's happening at that moment in time. So if you made a choice and it didn't come to fruition, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you made the wrong choice. That just means that you're supposed to somehow learn something in that process and take 100% responsibility for that decision. But look at it as a learning experience. So what did you learn from that? What can you pull from that? What is the aspect? What was something that you're supposed to learn from that experience? It could be like if you went to purchase a home and someone else bought the home, made a higher bid, whatever it was, or had better, had cash instead of having to wait for a loan or whatever it is, there was something to learn from that. So take a step back and figure that out. What was I supposed to learn from that process? Because every situation there's no losing in life. There's only learning. So when something doesn't go exactly how you imagined it should go, or that that you wanted it to go at that moment in time, usually if you reflect back after, you'll go, there was just not the right feeling there. I didn't feel 100% into it. I didn't feel like it was going completely my way. I had a weird, just gnawing feeling deep down inside, now reflecting on it. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in the process and the goal that it's like we just want it to happen so badly that we force that square peg through a round hole, and you just can't do that. Because there's something you need to learn out of that. So take 100% responsibility for that decision. Take 100% responsibility that was not supposed to happen in your life. And then reflect back and learn from that. There is something within that situation that you were supposed to take and learn from and put in your back pocket as experience. So think about what that is. So, and as you're debating or looking and thinking about past situations in your life, then go back and go through those steps. Think about that. Think about what you could learn from that situation, because otherwise, if we didn't learn from it, what's going to happen? You're going to repeat that situation over and over again until you catch what you're supposed to be catching. Okay? Which brings me to your response. I like to say reaction. Event plus reaction equals outcome, because reaction to me just gives more emphasis of what it is. We're always reacting to an event. You can respond to an event, but that kind of lessens it down, doesn't it? I mean, just the word response itself. So what is your reaction? Do you get depressed when these things don't go your way? Do you feel out of control? Is it a negative? Those are all negative reactions. What if you change that reaction to, hey, thank you. They come back and they say, you can't get this loan. Whew. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time of even looking into whether I could get that loan or not. I want to thank you for doing that. And this probably means that that's really not supposed to be the home or the car or whatever you're going to purchase at that moment in time. Probably means that I'm not supposed to have that in my life. Thank you so much. They'll probably look at you weird like, ooh, who's this nutcase? But it's the truth. Whatever that is, if it doesn't go how you think it's supposed to go, I'm using those air quotes, right? You hate people that use those, don't you? But however that's supposed to go is good. It's going down that right path. So that's the first thing. Take the time and react in that way. Say thank you to the universe, to your higher power, whatever you want to call it, for that reaction. Got an event, situation. What's the situation right now? Flooding. In Wisconsin here, in the Madison area, we're having some intense flooding. Places that no one fathomed would ever flood are underwater. And it's ruining bridges, it's ruining roadways, the infrastructure is all being affected. Storm sewers, things like that are being overflooded with water. And so the response or the reaction to that, I'm going to guess in our area, it's going to be people teaming up to help others. That's what I'm going to fathom on that, because that's how we react in this area. Other areas may not be that way. They may be like you're on your own. You're also going to get a reaction from insurance companies. You're going to get a reaction from municipalities, government, workers, things of that sort are going to come together, and we're going to start fixing this. Now, if if our reaction is the opposite to that, if our reaction is whatever is yours, it's your responsibility, you're on your own, we're not going to help you pump water out of your home, we're not going to help you, fix things, all that good stuff, then you're going to get more of a negative outcome to that, right? So we're in control of the outcome. We really are. And we are by our reaction or response to that event. So think about that as you go through. You got to be thankful for things happening to you, even if they're not going the way that you think that they should go. Even if that person that you thought was the love of your life all of a sudden goes someplace else. The home that you didn't get, the car that you didn't purchase, the things that just didn't work out for some reason or another, and you just don't understand why. You don't have to know the why. Just be thankful that it happened, because there's a reason why you didn't get that. And you don't have to know that. You just have to be thankful for the outcome of what happens. Makes sense. So if you go, hi Denise. Hey, how are you? Hi Linda, how's it going? So think about that as you're creating this life, this dream life of yours. You have to have goals. You have to set those goals up, but you have to also just think about your reactions to other people, to other things that are out there. As life happens, take a conscious responsibility for your reaction, I should say. Make it a conscious responsibility for your actions that you take out there, and let it just blossom. Like I said before, don't worry so much. Don't focus on the why. Why does this happen? Why didn't that happen? Why didn't things come to fruition? But just focus on what your reaction to the next situation or the event is. As I was saying earlier, we've had the flooding in our area. And this just made me start thinking of all the different things. Now, I'll do a little plug. I have a course that's launching out in the first week, right after Labor Day, first week of September. And the reaction, there's probably more questions that are coming in through Messenger and through emails and that, for people that are like, well, what's really involved? I thought I was pretty crystal clear on explaining it, but so there's a lot of action or a lot of questions that are coming through. And so my initial response was kind of like, man, don't they read? Don't they go down through this? Can't they see? And then I started reading it myself and going, oh, I probably could have tweaked that a little bit better. Do they know how long it is? Well, it says in the title, but it doesn't say down below. 60 days, 2 months, 60 days. And it's only for coaches, so it's new coaches that are going to be in the program. But they started asking. So I started reacting first kind of defensively, and then I went, hold on, take a step back, look at what there is, what they're looking at. See it through their eyes. Is it crystal clear? Can you tweak this? Can you change this verbiage a little bit? So I changed up a little bit in the verbiage and that to try to make it a little bit more clear. Is it crystal clear? I don't know. You tell me. I'll put the link down below. You check it out and you tell me if there's a question on that or if it's crystal clear. I think it's a great program. It took me months to put this into place, all the little pieces together, and I think it's a great program. But now, once again, if I don't sign up, I now have allowed, or I have it in sync for about 10 people. If all of a sudden I get inundated by 30 or 40 people and I have to turn away that many people, what's my reaction going to be? I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, how can I do this? How can I, because I want to help as many people as I can start their businesses, get being successful solopreneurs. But is that going to be what my reaction is? I don't know. I don't know until it starts happening, until it starts rolling through. And how people are reacting to that, I can't take responsibility for their reactions to it too. Some people are going to be fired up by it. Some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, it's too much money. Some are going to be like, oh my gosh, I should pay you more. I don't know. But let's take it away from that and put it back on you. What have you, put in the comments, or tell me, Denise, Linda, Amber, tell me the things that you think that you were so hung up about before, and now in hindsight, you're thinking, boy, I'm glad that didn't happen. Married that person. You know, when I went through, when I had to make the decision to get a divorce, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How can I be on my own? Denise says it's hard to know how you'll react until you're in it. Yeah, that's very true. Hey, Courtney. And I had to struggle through that because I have to get back farther to read that because I don't have my glasses on. But yeah, you don't know while you're in it. You really don't know while you're in it. But in hindsight, everything makes sense. It's crystal clear. I know there's been many times, like I said, with my divorce, it's like I was like overwhelmed by how am I going to do this on my own, until all of a sudden I just went, wait a second, you were single before. What's the difference now? So you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You know, we put ourselves into these, you know, situations where we think that we don't, you know, we just think ourselves out of taking that chance or doing that thing. But yeah, the things that we thought we were gonna, like, our whole world's gonna come to an end, the love of our lives or something, whatever it is, then, and all of a sudden it just, like, in hindsight, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't marry that person. I'm so glad I got out of that situation. I'm so glad. It all makes sense in hindsight, doesn't it? It does. All right, but that brings us to, there's always a rainbow. Yes, there will always be a rainbow to every situation. You just have to look for it and find it. You know that you know those people that plague on the problem. A problem is always going to be there. They're like, oh my gosh, they look at the hurdle and that wall, they look at it as a wall or a hurdle that they have to get over, and it's just 10 times taller than they are. There's no way they can climb that, and they get overwhelmed by the problem, and they're just focused so much on the problem versus the solution. That's the opposite people. And there's just basically, it's the two kinds. There's nobody in the middle. You're either focused on the problem or you're focused on the solution. Denise says, breakups with abusive, yep, boyfriend. I thought it was the end of the world, but what a gift. Yeah. Yeah. In hindsight, that makes total sense, right? You're like, oh my gosh. But while you're in that situation, you're just like, oh my gosh, you know? And I think as time goes on, we get a little bit smarter and a little bit braver, don't we? In those situations, we all of a sudden see that. But if you didn't learn that lesson, how many people do you know that repeat, different person, same situation, different person, same situation, different person? They just keep repeating it. It's like the world is going, this is the lesson you need to learn. You need to know that there's this type of person out there, there's abusive people out there, and you have to know the signs and that to keep, maybe it's maybe it's to keep your child safe from that. Maybe it's to teach them so that they don't end up in a situation like that. Or maybe it's that they will end up in a situation and you'll be able to read the signs a lot faster, and then you'll be able to intercede before that person gets hurt physically, mentally, and gets overwhelmed by that. So yeah, there is always a rainbow or a silver lining to every one of these situations. You just have to look and learn from that. As I said earlier, there's no losing, there's only learning. So if you learn from every situation, you're not going to make that same, write that same book, write the same chapter more than once in your life. You're going to be able to get out there and enjoy life because you learn that lesson and you can move on. That's really how it is. So always look for what that lesson is, what that learning curve is that you're trying to, that the world is throwing at you. The world's throwing you into that situation to learn, whether you call it your higher power, your whatever, your angels, whatever it is, they're steering you into so that you learn from that situation, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. You have to learn the same lesson over and over again. Yeah, thank goodness. Exactly. Thanks. Thanks, Denise. Thanks for the comments. Make it flow a little bit easier, right? And it's less you have to listen to me because I can at least repeat your comments back, right? But take those, so do that. So whatever situation you come into, always check back that it's how you react. It's how you respond to that event. So if it doesn't necessarily go your way, don't fret, don't get worried, don't throw it out, as we used to say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, keep it going that way and look for that lesson that you're going to learn from, thanks for the hearts, by the way, that lesson, think of what experience that you're supposed to learn. You know, are you supposed to go through a series of things and learn from that aspect? I'm talking kind of generically because I don't want to get specifics. I could throw some out there right now. Many that I've done. I've learned many lessons over my lifetime, and I've tried to make a conscious effort of being in that moment to learn that lesson. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. That's everything I got to say for tonight. Tomorrow night, right here on Dave Stelma, and pushed out to a couple other pages, you're going to see Lindsay Gledhill. And what Lindsay does is Lindsay is now coming up with a challenge that is going to just light the universe on fire because he's an amazing person. He's got his amazing challenge that's coming up, and I'm going to let him explain it and talk to you and tell you all about it. So come back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 on East Coast, and 4 o'clock on the West Coast. Come back here for Lindsay. We're going to chat a little bit. It's going to be Lindsay and I chatting back and forth, and he's going to tell you all about this amazing challenge that starts in September, and it's free. You can jump into his Facebook page and you can take advantage of that. Also, don't forget about Denise. Incredible You. Look for, go and search Incredible You in Facebook, and you'll find her group. Go in there. She's got that great challenge going on right now, and it doesn't matter. She wants you to do 20 days in a row. Just go on there and spread your positivity around in there and tell them all the great things that you are grateful for every day. You can post a picture. You can do whatever you want in there. So Denise has a great page. So look for Incredible You as a group and find Denise and say hey. And come back here tomorrow night and talk about and listen to Lindsay and tell you about his amazing challenge coming up in September. All right. Have a great evening, unless you're on the West Coast, and then have a great afternoon. Just kidding. Have a great evening either way. See you later tomorrow night. Bye-bye. If you like this video, like my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or find everything at davestelma.com.